and makes a proclamation as Moses, "Who is on the Lord's side?" And the psalmist, "Who will stand up for me against the evildoers? Who will take a stand for me against those who do wickedness?" Psalm chapter 94, verse 16. Note that once Reformation work has begun, the time has come to inquire who sides with it. Her own attendants betrayed her and handed her over to him to carry out his fair revenge. 2 or 3 chamberlains looked out to Jehu with such a countenance that encouraged him to believe that they were on his side, and to them he called not to seize or secure her until further orders, but rather immediately to throw her down, which was one way of stoning criminals, casting them headlong from some steep place. As a result, she experienced the repercussions of the stoning that she had inflicted upon Naboth. They threw her down. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 33. And he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood spattered on the wall and on the horses, and he trampled her underfoot. If God's instruction could justify Jehu, then Jehu's instruction could justify them as well. It is possible that they had a hidden distaste for Jezebel's wickedness and hated her despite the fact that they served her. It is also possible that she was cruel and harmful to those around her, and they were pleased with the opportunity to exact revenge on her. Finally, it is possible that they did this because they saw Jehu's success and hoped to ingratiate themselves with him and maintain their positions in his court. She was thrown against the wall and the sidewalk, and then the horses, who were all covered in her blood, stepped on her while she was still alive. This was the most disgraceful way she could have been put to death. Witness the destruction of pride and cruelty, and then declare that the Lord is righteous. The very dogs complete her shame and ruin, according to the prophecy. After Jehu had refreshed himself in the palace, he thought to himself that the best way to demonstrate respect for Jezebel was to bury her. Despite the fact that she was a terrible person, she was a daughter of the king, a wife of the monarch, and the mother of the king. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 34. When he came in, he ate and drank and said, "See now to this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter." But though he had forgotten what the prophet said, God had not forgotten it. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 10. And the dogs will eat Jezebel in the territory of Jezreel, and there will be no one to bury her. Then he opened the door and fled. While he was eating and drinking, the dogs had devoured her dead body, so that there was nothing left but her bare skull, the painted face gone, and her feet and hands. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 35. They went to bury her, but they found nothing left of her except the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. The ravenous hounds had no regard for the dignity of her lineage. To them, a king's daughter was on the same level as any other person. Even if we pamper our bodies and use them deliciously, let us know how shortly they will be a feast for worms underground. When Jehu was informed of this, he recalled the frightening words that had been spoken before. 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 23. The Lord also spoke in regard to Jezebel, saying, "The dogs will eat the body of Jezebel in the district of Jezreel." Nothing should remain of her but the monuments of her infamy. She was accustomed to making her appearances on public days while in an amazing state, and the clamor would always be, "This is Jezebel. What an absolutely magnificent port and figure. I can't believe how beautiful she is." However, from this point forward, it will not be repeated. We have frequently witnessed the wicked being buried. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 10. So then, I have seen the wicked buried, those who used to go in and out of the holy place, but did not thereby escape their doom. And they are praised in spite of their evil, and soon forgotten in the city where they did such things. This too is futility, vanity, emptiness. Yet sometimes, as here, the wicked has no burial. Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 3. If a man fathers 100 children and lives many years, however many they may be, but his soul is not satisfied with good things, and he is not respected and is not given a proper burial, he is not laid to rest in the sepulchre of his fathers. There was no trace of Jezebel all around, except in sacred texts. Nobody dared to utter things like, "This is Jezebel's grave." Therefore, the name of the wicked will decay and be forgotten, even above ground.